Hey guys, and welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. So I've got my tea and I'm ready for another review. So today we're going to be looking at these three. It's the Safari Ltd Wild Safari line, and we've got the Triceratops, we've got the really striking Diabloceratops, and we've got the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now the reason I've put these three together is because it's quite probable that these three fought each other in the Cretaceous period, and I think they're absolutely stunning sculpts. So let's start off with the Triceratops. Now this one I'm really fond of, mainly because it resembles the Triceratops that we see in Jurassic Park. It has got some areas of dark green which isn't present on the Triceratops that we see in the film, but the sculpt is very, very reminiscent of the one we see in the film. You can see here it's got a really nicely sculpted head. I think this has to be my favourite Triceratops sculpt that I have seen to date. It's really, really fantastic. You can see they've nicely weathered the horns as well, and there's some really nicely sculpted detail. I really like the level of gloss in the eye. You get that real sort of wet feeling in the eye, and the beak is really nicely sculpted. Just absolutely beautiful. Really, really stunning job. And same on the other side, you can see. It's a really, really beautiful sculpt. And the frill as well, you've got all these lovely bones going around the outside. Just absolutely beautiful. As we carry on down the body, you can see we've got some nice lines of compression here. Nice chunky legs going down, and individually sculpted and painted toes. You can see we've got some nice sort of lines of compression here in the body. Really nicely sort of sculpted musculature on the back leg there. Very, very nice indeed. You really do get the feeling that this is a really heavy beast. Again, we got some lines of compression on the tail here, which makes sense because the tail would have swung from side to side, so you would have got these natural creases. Very nice indeed. And then as we carry on to the other side, you can see this lovely bright dark green contrasted with the dark brown here. And I have to say the colours on this toy are very vibrant indeed. You've got a very nice pale beige underneath to contrast that. So really nicely sculpted, again lines of compression in the neck there, really lovely. And you can see the back of the frill there is just nicely scaled as well. So a really beautiful piece. I love the way these lines around here around the neck and on the chest here all gather and meet up here. Really lovely. Okay, so moving on to the Diabloceratops. Now this is one that I'm not very familiar with, but I really love the sculpt on this guy. It's got a lovely striking red eye, and I really like the frill. Look at that frill. Wow. I mean, if you met this guy and you were part of, a herbivore herd, this certainly would have stuck out from the rest of the dinosaurs. Gosh, really striking. I love this coloration on the frill. Very nice indeed. So you can see the label there, Diabloceratops. And then as we carry on down the body, we've got a lovely pose. I mean, that pose is really dynamic with the outstretched forearms. Really nice. And I really like the way they've broken up these scales with these bigger round scales. It reminds me of like a Komodo dragon or something like that. Very nice indeed. I really like the way they've done the musculature here on the back leg. Very nice indeed. Very cool. Just overall a lovely attention to detail. Individual painted toe claws. Excellent. And Diabloceratops, I'm assuming, wasn't as big as the Triceratops, because when you put him next to Triceratops, you can see he's a little bit smaller than the Triceratops figure. So there we go. And last but not least, let's have a look at the Tyrannosaurus. So I think the Tyrannosaurus has been, he's done a little bit too much swimming in the swimming baths, because he's got these red eyes, so I think he's got a little bit of chlorine in his eyes and it's irritated his eyeballs. But never fear, he'll get over it. He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex after all. So there's a really nice head sculpt. I think the paint job on these two guys is slightly better than this one. But what I do like about this guy is that they've used a sort of a yellow translucent plastic, which gives him this sort of real skin feel. I don't know if you can tell, but in the daylight here, he seems to be very much absorbing the light. And it has a different effect to the standard plastic that they use on the other figurines. Very nicely sculpted toe claws. Very nice indeed. Some real lines of compression going along the tail here, especially in the bend, which you'd expect. I really like the paint job. These lines painted here. Very nice. And there's a very sort of natural looking S-curve in the tail there. Really nice. I really love the feeling of the skin folding here where the leg is forward and these lines of tension. Really, really good. Very dynamic sculpt. I like the musculature here on the back leg. Very nice. And I think the weathering on this side is generally better than the weathering on the other side. You can see that the brown paint has sort of caught in these lines and also on the neck, which is not so present on this side. But yeah, I really like the variation of browns and yellows. Very nice indeed. And the interior of the mouth has been sculpted as well. I don't know if the light can pick that up. Unfortunately, it's been a stormy day here in the UK, and it's not very bright outside, but the interior of the mouth is nicely sculpted as well. So very nice indeed. Now I have to say the head sculpt is actually a little bit reminiscent of the Jurassic Park T-Rex. So that's quite cool. If you're looking for a Jurassic Park style T-Rex, then this might be one of the ones you'd like to look at. Okay, so there we have it. That was the Safari Limited Wild Safari line. And I think they're three fantastic figures. And what's great about these is that you can imagine them fighting each other. I did have a little look to see what paleontologists would think about a Tyrannosaurus fighting a Triceratops. And the consensus actually is that the Triceratops probably would have won. And this is mainly due to the fact that the T-Rex has tiny little arms and the Triceratops is very well sort of prepared with its armoured frill and also the spikes on its head. So actually they think maybe the Triceratops could have been the winner between these two. And that also ties in with the theory that some people think that the Tyrannosaurus was a scavenger, and he may not have been up for a fight with the Triceratops. But there we go, three fantastic little figures. Will you be picking these guys up? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.